What's good, y'all? Let's talk about this women's 200 meters, which just went down at the USA Outdoor Championships. Check out the video I already did about, Gabby Thomas, about Noah Lyles, Kenny B, about, who else? Sha'carri and Coleman and all of them. Did a little reaction there. Also, the men's 200, got a separate video on that. But let's talk about this women's 200 because it came down to the wire. It came down to the wire. We saw, first part, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. 21.83 seconds. Personal best, emphatic progression since she ran 21.9 at the Philly Grand Slam track meet. And she now solidifies herself, in my opinion, as a true double threat in the 100 and the 200. Now, I'll talk about, Worlds in a second as it relates to medal potential in the 200. But I really think that Melissa is really showing herself up and proving that she can handle a workload of a double at a World Championships or Olympics. Gives very similar vibes to what we saw from Sha'carri in 2023 when she won the gold medal in the 100 and got the bronze in the 200. But here she was a class of the field, clear and gone, the only woman under the 22-second barrier, and it was just not even close. Execution on point. And I'm trying to think of like some parallels across the board where, we've seen athletes like Carmelita Jeter, right? That kind of reminds me of that realm. Obviously, I said Sha'carri Richardson. Tori Bowie to a degree. I feel like Tori in 2016, she did get a silver in the 100 as well as a bronze in the 200. But I feel like Tori, maybe she was really strong in the 200. But what I'm saying is that I feel like Melissa is entering a realm of 100, 200 sprinters that maybe were more so known as 100, but are able to really show themselves in the 200 as well. That's why I say someone like Carmelita Jeter and Tori Bowie. Tori Bowie's kind of come out was the 2014 Prefontaine Classic where she ran the 200 in lane 1, but is what it is. So shout out to Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, masterclass, and she's going to World Championships hungry and confident. Number 2, Anavia Battle. I was teetering on picking Anavia Battle. I think, it just came down to the time, but Anavia Battle, 22.13 seconds. Season's best. I think that's her second or third best time ever, right? She's run 21.9 back at the Olympic trials in 2021, but she is back. She justifies and proves why she is not to be played with. Many of y'all were saying that, she was winning the Diamond Leagues. She was not running fast times. She's not going to be able to do it when we get to the USAs. But she showed why she was more than capable of performing against these women. There's no reason to think that someone like Anavia Battle, who done very well in 2024 on the Diamond Leagues, now step things up in 2025. And remember, she beat out Shericka Jackson. She beat out Mackenzie Long. She beat out Britney Brown. She beat out, I think, Dean Asher Smith. Like, she's beat out high-quality women on the Diamond League circuit this year. And she just proved why she deserves to be in that conversation. Don't put it past Anavia Battle potentially getting on that podium at the World Championships later on this year. We'll talk about that, another time, but she is a gamer. She's a gamer, and she keeps showing up. So shout out to Anavia Battle, second place. This is where the drama came in. Third place, 22.20 seconds by Gabby Thomas, by Britney Brown, by Mackenzie Long. All three of them had the exact same time. And I'm going to talk about what Gabby said in a second, but all of them had the exact same time, waiting for so long to determine who actually got the spot. But Gabby Thomas eventually was awarded the spot. I think it was like 20.998 or something like that. And then Britney Brown had Gabby Thomas 20.997. And then something like that. I'm forgetting. But it's separated by, 0.02 of a second, all three of the women. Sorry about, trying to get the numbers in my head. But regardless, I think Gabby Thomas, she spoke afterwards about having an Achilles injury that has set her back for almost a month at this point, and how she's been doing rehab. There was points where she couldn't walk on that leg. She was going to LA to get rehab and recovery and all that stuff. And just about a week ago is when she was finally able to be ready enough to compete at USAs. She ran the first heat of the 100, and her coach, Tanja Bailey, said, all right, let's just switch things up. Even though you ran that 11:02, let's switch things up to make sure you're fully ready for the 200. So she just listened to her coach, dropped out the 100, and fully focused on that 200. In the 200-meter heat, though, she did not look good. Like, shout out to Chris Chavez, reminded me that very reminiscent to the London Diamond League from last year, where Dean Asher Smith and Julian Alfred were out like a rocket, and then Gabby Thomas had to claw her way back to get the win here. In this 200-meter heat, she was out of it. 70 meters to go. I thought she was done. but she fought her way back to be able to get a spot on the team get a spot in the final and then eventually on the team. Shout out to, Gabby Thomas, she's going to the World Championships, but I kind of spoke to her on the side afterwards, and she was like, yo, like, I did not know I would have been, like, she was it was so crazy. It was so crazy. And if she missed the team, it would have been big. Even though she hasn't been healthy, and that explains why maybe her performance hasn't, been great time-wise, I think she would have been devastated because Gabby Thomas has made the podium at every team that she's actually made the Worlds or the Olympics to. 2021, got the bronze at the Olympic Games. 2022, she was injured, so she didn't make the team to the World Championships. Remember, she made that final at USA's, finished down the pack. She was devastated. She was crying, got an injury just a few weeks before. 2023, she, of course, got the silver at the World Championships. Last year, got the gold medal. So every time she's gotten to a championships, she's gotten on the podium. Let's see if that does happen here. It's going to be very competitive, but she said that she's not fully healthy, but she's going to have to take time to recover, and she knows what's in front of her. She knows that, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, she knows Julian Alfred, Sharika Jackson could cut, like, all these women are in the conversation, so Gabby is gunning for that. Now, after that, though, Britney Brown. Huge shout-outs to Britney Brown for... She had surgery a couple months back, and she was dealing with so much. She was pulling out of meet. She couldn't compete. She finally ran, I think, 22-1 at the meet down at Ed Murphy in Tennessee. So finding herself getting back into form. She also ran some really strong rounds in the heats to win her heat, I think, if I remember correctly. But she ran a very strong round, and then she comes to the final, runs 22.20 seconds. It's really tough because Britney Brown is someone that, I'm gonna be honest, personally one of my favorite athletes. She is a gamer considering everything that she's been through. So to see her, just miss the team, it's really devastating, but I know Britney Brown's gonna be back. She's a medalist from 2019. She's a medalist from 2024. She's made various finals in the 100 and the 200. Like, Britney Brown is one who you can never count out. So shout out to Britney Brown. After that, Mackenzie Long. Unfortunately, Mackenzie Long, I think most people probably had Mackenzie Long on their teams, but I don't think anyone envisioned her finishing 5th place. And it's not even like she finished 5th down the pack. It's like right there. But Mackenzie Long, 5th place here. It's interesting because she ran faster. She ran 22-1 in the heats and then just dropped back a little bit. So it's tough. It's really tough to see Mackenzie Long not make this team. But again, shout out to Chris Chavez. He reminded me implications with the Diamond League, with the wild card, because the USA does not have the world champion. That's Sharika Jackson with from Jamaica. So what could happen is someone could go on the Diamond League circuit and potentially win. And so you have a couple different scenarios here. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, I don't think is going to compete on the Diamond League to potentially win it. So that's out the question. And well, actually, let me say this. Let's do this. First of all, if Anavia or if Gabby go on the Diamond League circuit and they win the Diamond League final in the 200, then Britney Brown gets the 4th spot because she finished behind Gabby Thomas here. So she would get the spot to the World Championships, and that would open things up. Anavia Battle is probably likely to go to the Diamond League final and contest there. She's been killing it on the Diamond League. She's been cooking, so she's in a good spot to potentially go there and win. Gabby Thomas could... The thing is, she's not healthy right now, but she could go on the Diamond League circuit and potentially win things there. Maybe once she gets healthy, once she gets fully healthy, she might want to get some, more races under her belt. So that's, an option there. Similar with Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, but I just don't think she's actually going to go on the Diamond League circuit. I'm not sure. She may be more likely to run the 100 as opposed to the 200, but that's there. The other option is Britney Brown going on the circuit herself and trying to get that Diamond League win, which I think based on her trajectory so far this year, getting better and better, that's actually a very strong possibility. We saw her win the Diamond League last year after a long season, after getting a bronze medal at the Olympics. So it's possible that she could go to the Diamond League if she's healthy and, get a spot on the team. I think that's very possible. The other option is Mackenzie Long. Mackenzie Long was dealing with injuries early this year, which, led her to a late start to the season. So you'll see on, I think it's the Rome Diamond League and the Paris Diamond League. She competed in those. Anavia Battle, I think, beat her twice. But essentially, she competed at 2 Diamond Leagues and she didn't do well. But that was as she was like kind of getting back into her good form, which now we've seen her run 21 seconds in Tennessee. She's run 22-1. She's run 22-2. So she's getting back into good form and could go on the Diamond League circuit and potentially win the final, which would give her a spot. So let me just be clear again. Whoever goes to the Diamond League final, If Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, Anavia Battle, Gabby Thomas, or Britney Brown wins the Diamond League final, then Britney Brown goes to Tokyo along with Melissa, Anavia, and Gabby. If Mackenzie Long wins the Diamond League final, then she will go to the World Championships ahead of Britney. Okay, so just so that's clear, and who knows? Julian Alfred may just like win this whole Diamond League because she's been cooking. So let me just quickly talk about the World Championships, because I still think Julian Alfred is a 200-meter favorite going to Worlds. She has been so dominant. She has been running times 21.7 into a headwind. You know, she's been putting down performances in the 200 that are really hard for me to see anyone, as it stands right now, actually beating. Gabby Thomas, she's of course not healthy, so I don't see her beating Julian Alfred as it stands right now. And I think Julian Alfred is a favorite for the 200 meters leading into Worlds. 100, I would, Melissa and Julian are kind of like same to me, but then I do say that Julian is the 200 meter favorite. Sharika Jackson could get back into form, but it's questionable I don't see her getting, she could, but I don't think she's in that 21.4 form, right? Like, she's not in that form right now. So who knows how that actually may play out. But I do think Julian Alfred is a 200 meter favorite. I do see Melissa getting on the podium. I see Melissa on the podium. And then, I don't know. As it stands right now, it's just up in there. Again, I'm trying to like process this, real time. But it's going to be a very competitive 200 meters. But I do think, based on what we know right now, Julian Alfred, 200 meter favorite, Melissa Jefferson, medal favorite. And then you can kind of like, we'll have to see how the season progresses for anyone else. I think it's a complete toss-up, after that with any women. And again, I'm not saying Melissa is a silver medal favorite. I think she's a medal favorite because it's going to hinge on how other athletes do throughout the rest of the year. So that's one thing to take into consideration. So shout out to all the women that competed. Shout out to Deja Stevens. She ran 22.5, but she was DQ'd, I think, for stepping on the line. I spoke to her afterwards, kind of on the side as well. She's in good spirits. She wanted to really make the team here, of course, but she acknowledges, like, listen, she's on her comeback trail. She was a 2017 USA champion, 2016, second place at Olympic trials and went to the Olympic Games and all that. So Deja Stevens on the comeback trail. But yes, women's 200. Let me know what you think and, expectations, everything. Like, it's crazy. We're going to have some more in-depth stuff coming in later on, but always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.